Hey, good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday. It is March 17, 2011, or I guess it's also, isn't this kind of Green Beer Day, St. Patrick's Day or something? Hopefully, if you are partaking, stay away from those food additives and coloring and just drink the beer, or better yet, make your own nettle beer. Homemade with just only 4 ingredients and actually good for your health, but you can find out how to do that in our archives over at truthbrigade.org. Hope you had a lovely early spring day. I had a really neat experience today. Went and did some garden work, and little birdie followed me back in my house and came to cuddle and hug with me. It was so sweet. I love those experiences. And anyways, it's nice to take a little time out with nature and get grounded. And anyways, very, very special. I hope you're enjoying your day as well, and I thank you for joining us here at Truth Brigade on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. We have an exciting show, a fun show in store for you tonight with Tobias Lars. He is a personal awakening coach and soul counselor. Also the author of one of my favorite books, Listening to the Sun, which you can find at courseofawakening.com, as well as his other videos. And he recently put up a video about all the problems with women. Yeah, gee, thanks, Tobias. All right, so tonight we're going to rub it in, and we're going to talk about all the problems of men. Just kidding. Okay, no, actually, we are going to try to get to some solutions and see what we need to do for real change, because, I know we're all guilty of it. We want to play the divide and blame someone else for all our problems instead of taking responsibility and the initiative to make changes. So, the topic, men and women, will they ever meet? Why can't women and men form functioning relationships? Why can't we be honest with each other? What is the woman afraid of? What is the man afraid of? Where is the heart caught in between? Can we handle the truth about sex and love? Will the current model of relationships change into something else, or are we kind of headed to a dead end? And what does ego and ownership of the other have to do with the arrested development of true love on earth at this time? And will truth about these topics trigger both men and women to reject the information, or are we ready to make some change and work on some true healing? InnerBodyAwakening.com is also another one of Tobias's creations, and it's probably the quickest, easiest, and most powerful way or method for becoming more aware of our inner body, our etheric body, or energy body. But we'll talk about that more when we return from this short break. So stay tuned, everyone. Be right back. Truth Brigade Radio. Right, welcome back. Thanks for joining us here tonight. Truth Brigade on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. If you would like to join us for the text chat tonight, that's over at truthbrigade.com. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to give us a call at 402-237-2525. That's 402-AFR-2525. Our special guest tonight, Tobias Lars. He is a soul counselor and personal awakening coach. Soulcounseling.com is the website, and the topic, men and women, will they ever meet? So good to have you joining us here tonight, Tobias. How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. You hearing me okay?
Yeah,
right?
Yes, you're a trooper. You had to go on a road trip today and even have a little surgery, I guess, performed, and you're here joining us tonight.
I'm such a kid at heart, and, that my wisdom teeth don't show up until I'm, later in life. So,
well, you know what? I mean, if you want to take it easy tonight, I have the solution for all of these problems between men and women. I mean, we could just end it right here, I think.
Okay, let me hear it.
It's green beer. It's St. Patty's Day.
Right on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Really.
The land of ire. The ire land. You ever wonder what that means? Ire means what? Anger. Suppressed anger. I'm not surprised. That's such a beautiful emerald green isle. I have a song called Emerald Isle where I talk about how some of the Atlanteans, after Atlantis sank, they followed stars to the east, and it led them to this Emerald Isle. And that's one of the last places where the other dimensions, all we hear about is leprechauns, but the other dimensions were still permeable, and we walked between and into each other's worlds, the fairy kingdoms, the other kingdoms, and also, so there's no mistake or there's no surprise in a way that the people would be very angry that they lost that and that they need to drink a lot to forget about it. Oh, I can't believe I said that. But, so I love Ireland. I'd like to go there sometime, and I've written a song in honor of it. But yes, how about we turn the land of ire into the land of good fire instead? How about that?
Wouldn't that be nice? They have a lot of issues over there they're dealing with, too.
Yeah. So, and I love to play with language. But we have all this anger, ire at each other. It's your fault. No, it's your fault. And we may hit upon some of that, tonight. So, here's another light subject to tackle.
Yeah. We kind of talked about it before, and I'm still convinced everything is men's fault. So if we just get rid of all the men, then we'll be happy and live. We will live happily ever after again.
Yeah. Yeah, you notice you stepped on that one? Sure.
I know. I'm totally teasing. I couldn't even get it out.
you and all the advertisers. You ever notice all the advertisers nowadays are basically smart woman, stupid man. It's like smelly man who doesn't notice anything, and it's always about some cleaning product. Or she not only has to take care of the kids all by herself, she has to work, then she has to clean the house. And the man, what does he do? He just sits on the couch. He doesn't do anything. That's sort of the theme of commercials. At least commercials that are geared towards women. Now, men's commercials will be geared towards the collective subconscious because commercials work. They don't give a shit about morals and how things work, about what's right or wrong. There's no right and wrong in commercials. It is, will it be effective? Is it practical? Will it crunch numbers? Will people be hit in their subconscious button of fear or lust or greed or fear of embarrassment? That's basically all the underarm, deodorant commercials, get you another mate. Anyway, so advertising doesn't care if it's right or wrong. It doesn't work. So it's really kind of interesting that you follow commercials and see what's in our collective consciousness. Talking about the mass collective, though, the 80% of the sheeple, 80% of the people, the 80-20 rule, So men's commercials are geared towards how do you avoid the woman nagging at you, right?
Yeah. That's every time we open our mouth, we're nagging.
Right. So from the man's perspective, it's like, can I just have some quiet, please? Can I have my beer and have some quiet? And from the woman's commercial, it's sort of like, oh, my man is so stupid. He's so unobservant and stupid, and God, he doesn't understand anything, right? And I need to talk to my girlfriends about that. I've always noticed this, and I make fun of it, because I'm the crazy guy in the middle. I'm the contrary voice. I'm the young boy encouraging men to remain boys. I'm the contrary voice. Because, some men don't like me and women don't like me. Or they both like me, but they think I'm a little weird at times. And this is...
Nah.
Yeah, just when they get that blank stare on their face and they go, and I'll give you a situation where that happens. Here's a room full of women, and I'm triggering some stuff here on purpose to get it going. So here's a room full of women, and I walk in. And it's like, and if I do a joke about, there's a man here, we can't talk about that stuff anymore, And like, if I just make a joke out of it, there's a swinging penis in the room. We have to change the topic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And I'll get blank stares back. The jokes, I'm trying to be funny with it or have some fun with it, but it's so deep, this thing about when there's members of the opposite sex in the room, we can't talk amongst ourselves. We have to go into some kind of fake, mixed company battle zone, sort of no one says what they really feel, but everyone has the way what they really feel. But even when I joke about it and I walk into a group of women, I go, there's a man here, we got to change the subject. I'll watch at least 80% of those women will look at me with a deer in the headlight look and go, I know he joked about it, but there's no way in hell I could ever get real and actually talk to him about what I really feel. Mm. And that's what's going on. That's what's happened. And the same with men. If women show up at the men's club or the man cave, it's the same thing. See, one thing I want to point out, this is not about taking sides. Taking sides is the polarity game. Taking sides is the blame game. Taking sides is the get divided and conquered game. You like being divided and conquered? Then keep this game going. Every teacher that you enjoying that? You enjoying having your kids on all these horrible pharmaceuticals? You enjoying religion basically being a giant suck your soul, suck your money, and, pedophile your kids? Is that a lot of fun lately, How's the government doing? We enjoying that? Is the MVD going well? I'm down here at the border today. There's like, I feel like the next step is you're going to stick light wands up our butt to inspect, make sure we're not carrying stuff around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going across the border to Mexico, and there's like a big brouhaha. They're looking for someone. It's like, it's amazing. It's obviously not working. Our system is not working. So at what point are men and women, because we have the power, why? Because we are the gods. You are God, Yeshua ben David said. He's not lying. He's not lying. He's not making that up. He's pointing out a fact. A fact is that human beings are the gods with a little g. We're not the big God, the source of everything, but we are pieces, chips of steel.
Little pieces.
Yeah. So we can make a difference. We're bigger than the government. We're bigger than Ritalin. We're bigger than the pharmaceutical companies. We're bigger than anything. That's the problem. We're big. As we go this morning, I know I'm sounding like a madman to some people probably. And this morning, as we left Phoenix, driving down to Algodones, Yuma, so I could have my wisdom taken out of me. Joy, by the way, said, keep the wisdom tooth, which I did. So, anyway. As we're driving down, we're on the west side of town, and we could look back over the giant valley, 50 miles across the Phoenix metro area. And it was so undeniably clear that there was chemtrails all over the whole city. It was like, oh, my God. I mean, these are not contrails. There's just a crisscross pattern on the rising sun, and it's just this white, nebulous, semi-mist fog just spreading over the whole valley. Undeniable. So, are we enjoying them chemicalizing us? Are we enjoying them killing all the sharks off? Are we enjoying, all of it? No, we're not. So are we willing yet, boys and girls, men and women, to actually try talking to each other? Shall we try it?
What a novel idea.
Or shall we point fingers and go, no, I'm not going to try it. Let's let Mikey try it first. We're like little 4-year-olds.
Well, just to give you a heads up, some of the comments on the chat, Tobias, I think we're up against a lot tonight, but let's see. Let me scroll through here. I'm not going to lie about this subject. It is all the women's fault. My mom nags me so much, this goes beyond intimate relationships. And another one, all women nag. That's how they get what they want. Let's see. Hey, Eve is the reason we're not in the Garden of Eden. Hence evil. Let's see. Women ain't got the common sense to be smart enough to deal with life. They won't do what is needed because it doesn't feel right. I have no respect for female cops. Let's see. Oh, I'm trying to get through them. Oh, women want to be men, but without the responsibility of hard work. Oh, yeah. Okay, like rearing and raising children and cooking your dinner and washing your socks and scrubbing your toilet and maintaining the garden and the kitchen. Yeah, that's not work and certainly not responsibility.
So, those comments are a perfect representation of the old system of us versus them, men versus women. Lucifer loves it if you believe in Lucifer. If you don't believe in Lucifer and God, it doesn't matter. If you believe in a system that cleverly sets one opposing the other, Machiavellian politics, how do you take a country down? You divide it and conquer it. You whisper in the ear of the men, women are stupid, lazy, they don't deserve it. And by the way, I am God, and I made women inferior. That's a great one. And then what you do on the other end, you do the same thing with the women. Men are stupid, you can't be trusted, they're run by their penis, and they're absolutely unobservant and ignorant, but you have to put up with them to get kids. Perfect. You whisper in each side's voice, each side's ear, you whisper some thoughts, comments like that, and you set them against each other, and you have a battle. Who wins when there's war? Like we could say, the wealthy families of Europe, the Bavarian Illuminati, whoever you think is running the world, they use both sides and make money off of the misery of people sending their kids off to war, right? We know that. Well, there's a much bigger game of setting us against each other going on, too, and that is not what the source, love, God, if you will, does. But it's whatever you call the opposite side, denial, evil. It wants to set us against each other. So, those comments that you read by a male, most likely, unless it's
several males. They weren't exclusive to just one username.
Right. Now, and then the women are going to have, okay, now it's our turn to tell how ignorant and stupid and insensitive, and if you guys would only feel, and if you'd only open your heart, and if you'd only be nice, and if you'd only do what I want, we'd be happy, right?
Yes, do everything I want you to do, and everything will be perfect.
Right. So you get both sides hunkering down. They dig, just like in the First World War, you dig a trench, you entrench yourself in a position. This is what I believe, never shall I be moved. I am strong, I will not move off my position. Right? And the women do one position and the men do the other position. And then you don't want to talk to each other, There's just this weird thing called sex that somehow chemically, horribly draws you together in the middle of the night, and then you create more of these war babies. Because
it's because of the green beer.
What's that?
It's the green beer that produces
that's
children.
A great way of doing it. So we've been divided and conquered, right? We've been divided and conquered. We are men. The battle of the sexes is freaking considered normal. That's insane. That's insane. Yeah. But it is also perfect because the universe, just like water is a good representation. Why does water represent the spirit? Why do we baptize in water? Why is water considered spirit when you're dreaming, etc.? Water reflects exactly your attitude towards it. If you slap water really hard, it slaps you back with an equal and opposite hardness. If you come crashing at it at 128 miles an hour at terminal velocity jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge, it's going to smack you back at 128 miles an hour. I might have the physics wrong. Golden Gate might not be tall enough for that. If you touch water gently, if you approach it with respect, or even in rapids, you can have fun and go with the flow, it respects you back. Well, the exact same way the universe does with us, too. So what we project, if we project men are stupid, all the good ones are taking up from the woman's side, right? Or all the or here's another one that women have. All the good-looking ones are gay. How come? How come the good-looking ones are gay? Right? For example, we're going to play with some of the collective beliefs men and women have here tonight. And the men will go, the good-looking ones are bitches, and we just got to put up with it, and then the nice ones are fat, you know what I'm saying? We have these stereotypes. And I know I'm trespassing on all kinds of incorrectness saying all this stuff. But, so we've been divided and conquered into these battle zones. Right? Well, if we're not willing to talk to each other, then we get a perfect reflection, which is battle. If you do battle with water, if you slap it really hard, it slaps you back. Actually, you're slapping yourself. So if you hate men or hate women or have all these judgments, ideas of how stupid, ignorant, wrong, if they would only get it right, we could finally heal the planet, and you don't want to look at yourself, you're going to be getting back exactly what you're putting out. That's Newtonian spiritual physics. Karma, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. That's the old way. The old way is an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. If the men attack the women, they'll get you back. They'll get you back because the women, okay, so they might not be physically as strong, but let me tell you, they've got other ways, to get you back, right? So if you want to get the women, you can imprison them, you can enslave them. We've tried the patriarchal enslavement. The Levites, one of the tribes of Judah, said basically to all the goddess religions, well, that's just evil. And some have speculated the reason they did it is because they decided we want to be able to pass our cattle and our land on to our sons. And unless we can absolutely know that the woman doesn't have sex with anyone else, but only me, so we need a God that says it's absolutely immoral to have sex with anyone else but your husband. And we'll be kind of lenient if the men go out and party and hang out with strippers and all that kind of stuff.
All right, Tobias, you certainly are triggering people. I just noticed the caller line is loaded up already, but it's that time. We're going to be right back. Brigade on AmericanFreedomRadio.com with Tobias Lars. The topic, men or women, will we ever meet? And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to give us a call at 402-237-2525, and if you want to take out your hate and anger on the opposite sex, feel free to join us over at the text chat at truthbrigade.com. I don't think I'll be able to read all these comments, Tobias, but we do have a few callers on the line. So our first call tonight is unavailable. If that is you, welcome to the show.
Happy St. Patty's Day, you drunk SOBs.
Oh, no, it's Louie. Here we go.
Skippy. You wanted me to call in, so don't be like, oh, no, now when
Louie, does SOB mean son? Louie, can I ask you a question real quick?
Sure thing, Toby.
Thank you. Does SOB mean sons of booty? Sons of booty? Yeah, I'll go with that.
Oh, no. When I mean SOB, I mean Son of Brazils, which is a very good dance club if you ever make it here.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Or Sons of Bugs.
So,
all right, Louie, I don't know.
Mother issues, girlfriend issues, let's go for it.
Yeah,
I would like to first quote two things from the immortal Chris Rock from his show Bigger and Blacker. Fellas, when you wake up in the morning, you should look at yourself and say, F you, F your hopes, F your dreams, F your plans, F everything you thought this life was going to bring you. Now let's go out there and make this bitch happy.
That's right, but only if you're married.
And there you go. Yes, exactly. And then but here's what they don't tell you. You could never make a woman happy. It's impossible. I've never met a happy woman in my life. They're always complaining about something. You can F a woman with a diamond D and make her blank 10 times, and she'll still complain. Why did you make me blank so hard? This diamond D is cloudy. Why don't you go to Tiffany's? You are so effing cheap. What's in the tea? Water, bitch. There you go.
I love Chris Rock.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Right on. Chris Rock is reflecting.
Why you work so much? I never see you. I hate this crap. Oh, or you don't got a job? Why you always here? You're on top of me.
All right, Louie, are you here to hate and blame, or are you here for solutions? Do you want to be part of the problem, or you want to be part of the solution?
I know what the solution is. You start backhanding them like you did back in the 50s.
Oh.
That's right.
Okay, yeah, because no one does that today. Actually, you're right. It's not a backhand anymore. It's like a full-on punch.
Exactly. Women don't respond to a punch because it's not. A punch is more of an attack. A backhand is a wake-up call.
Okay. All right, Louie. All right. Let's see what Tobias has to say.
Okay. Are we going full truth today, or are we going 3/4 or 90% truth? What do we want?
No, we're going full truth ahead. Yeah.
All right. I have to change my name to protect my guiltiness. No.
Yes.
So, absolute. Now, Sean Connery got in huge trouble, and I might too right now, when he a few years ago said that a woman needs a good slap now and then. Okay?
Yeah.
Remember that? And he got in huge trouble because he was living, by an ethos that was absolutely politically incorrect or, relationship incorrect now.
Yeah, well, don't think. But the thing is, we live in a liberal society.
Yeah.
I mean, everything is so PC, so that has nothing to do with male-female relationships.
Here's what I'm going to say. Comedians, first of all, Chris Rock is awesome. Anyone that gets collectively big, they're contributing something. I used to love Andrew Dice Clay. My spiritual friends would be like offended. That man had a heart. I loved him. I loved Sam Kinison. Sam Kinison was a saint. So I'm going to blow your mind. One of my good friends, who runs the Wolf Sanctuary. I hope that's okay to tell this. He's a real shaman, a Native American shaman. And one of his vision quests, Sam Kinison showed up as Sammy Whitehair. Sam Kinison's spirit showed up. Sam Kinison was here to do a job, to get our energy moving. Now, talking about the stuff between men and women. Remember his routines about, how to please a woman, right, with oral sex? Unbelievable. So the truth comes out. I love the roasts, I love seeing the roast where you can finally say all of it, and Gilbert Gottfried does his thing. God bless, by the way, Greg Giraldo. It was too bad that he passed away the way he did. But, so I'm going to suggest this. Whenever you make a rule in the universe, when you say, it's absolutely wrong to have any kind of violence ever against anyone, men, women, or pets. Guess what? The universe doesn't like rules. The end of the world is not getting hit. Now, continuous physical abuse is, of course, not a good, healthy thing. People fighting occasionally, even if it goes physical, as long as they don't have guns and knives, what's the big deal? When we were kids, and I got in a fist fight with my best friend, we got it out in 3 minutes. We were done. We were laughing. We were friends again. Right? Now, I know I'm pushing some spiritually incorrect stuff here saying that. But often, in true opposition combat, the Toltec masters, Don Juan and Carlos Castaneda, etc., would say that a worthy opponent is a beautiful thing to find. What I want to say is it's not always wrong. Physical violence, it takes two to tango. A woman getting slapped, as long as it's not physical abuse. But anytime you make a hard and fast rule that that's absolutely wrong, the universe says, really? Because the universe doesn't like wrong. The universe is just energy, But so I don't say that. I don't ever say that's absolutely wrong. Because there's a time for it. I agree with Sean Connery. There's a time for the woman to do what she does towards men. Now, if we surrender fully into it, just like when we're kids and you have a fight, you surrender so fully into it that it transforms. You get it out, you start laughing, it's over, you're my friend again. Now, if adults could learn to have arguments that way, to get it out without holding back, and I really just want to annihilate you, I want to get you, but I'm not looking for real healing or resolution, right? That way, you're stuck.
That's the thing I've come in contact with, because in in my relationships, they have a problem and they never want to, they don't want it solved. They just want to talk about it and waste time. And if you come up with a solution, it's more like, oh, well, it doesn't feel right. Well, sometimes you got to do stuff that doesn't feel right. Stop being so, stupid about it, ladies. Come on. I mean, I know you ladies weren't born with common sense, but, that's why God created man, to keep you ladies in line.
Right.
That's right, Christie.
That's beautiful.
That's why you're out of control.
I'm so glad you're here to keep me in line, Louie. What would we do without you?
So, Louie, let me suggest this. When a woman says, I want to talk about it, here's the key to each side. So we're not those entrenched people sitting in trenches taking pot shots at each other. If our heart wants to say, listen, I don't know everything. See, both sides have to do this. You have to say, I have my approach, I have my programming, I'm coming from my family background, thousands of years of human programming for a male. And then the woman can say, okay, I agree, I'm coming from a human programming, my mom, my grandma, whatever I was told as a little girl, my programming as well. And what if we can say, obviously, we don't know everything because we're having an argument, it doesn't feel good, or it's not working between us. So both sides need to say, I am open to a new way. If we're entrenched in our positions, we end up in a stalemate. A stalemate is a stalemate. No one wants to have a stalemate. I don't want a stalemate. My mates go stale. I start doing whatever I can to stir the pot, to get the juices, the energy flowing again. If that means an argument sometimes, I don't have any rules about it. I don't have any stupid spiritual rules. And neither do any of the masters. Jesus didn't either. He got pissed. Jesus got pissed. If we really heard what he really said when he kicked the effing money changers out of the temple, I'm sure there was some choice Aramaic words that couldn't be printed at the time. That's the truth of it. So occasionally stirring the pot. But the key is to say, I open my heart. I want real heart. Now, if the woman wants, I want to be right, I want to put my hooks in you, I want to put my little spider webs in you, I want to control you because you're a stupid man, you don't know better. Then she's
That's some defeatist garbage you're talking about there, Tobias.
What's that?
That's some defeatist garbage you're basically telling guys, okay, give up and just start being
No, Louie, you're not listening.
No, I'm not.
Please put on your listening ears.
No, what I'm saying is, both sides have to get off their positioning. Yeah,
we can play tit for tat for eternity.
Yeah. I'm not saying
in actuality, women don't know how to be women anymore, yet they turn around and try to pretend what it's like to be a man. So, I mean, how can we have any real relationships when women think that they are experts at being men when they don't even know how to be women themselves? And that's society.
Okay, not all women, Louie. Please, you got to get past that.
Yeah.
All of them.
I agree. And those women are going to attract their perfect men for them as a wake-up call. Many, many relationships right now are going to be in that stalemate. Neither side wants to get off their position, get off their program. This is how my mommy, my daddy did it, and I don't want to look past it, and this is how it is. If we're not willing to say, look, like I said, I'm a man, I got my programming, but the woman has to do it too. Both sides have to do it. It takes two to tango, and it takes, well, actually, the beautiful thing is it only takes one to heal. But the other person, if they still want to have a relationship with you, they have to be willing to heal and change as well. And this requires
guys are the ones that are having to bail out the dinghy as it sinks down into the ocean. They're like, we're trying to bail out the water, get out the water out the boat, or else it'll sink. But women are just pouring more water in. They just want to. They're very self-destructive people. They're worse than the Jews.
That's exactly, Louis, but that's exactly how women feel about men.
Yeah?
Well, you just said
that's because they don't want to see the common sense.
Yes, because you're right and all women are wrong. Right.
But that's exactly, Louis, that's exactly how women feel about men. They feel we're having to bail everything out because the men screw it up. They destroy the environment. blah, 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 and they're very self-destructive. Tell me, women feel men are really self-destructive. Men shoot things up, they hack things down, they destroy shit, we create, I mean, come on, that's what we do as men. We tend to destroy stuff. So both sides feel that same way, Louis. So it's going to reach a dead end, a really bad dead end, unless we say, hey, look, we've got to come off our position, and this is not working. We've got to come up with a new way. Both people have to be willing to say, this is not working.
No, it's the new way that got us, the more we stray from the Bible, and if I could also say the Quran for our Muslim brothers and sisters that are listening, the farther we stray and try to be all new agey and learn something new, the more uppity women think that they can get. And look, I've never hit a woman. I've never disrespected a woman. I was raised by yes, I was raised by a strong woman and also by a strong man. So, I mean, but even I know it's like, oh, come on, are you serious? And we'll be right back. This is Truth Brigade Radio on American Freedom Radio.
Yeah, Louis, keep up the hate. And yes, Louis was right. It is that time.
No,
Stay tuned, everyone. My goodness. We will be right back. Tobias Lars on Truth Brigade Radio. All right, welcome back. Thanks for joining us here tonight. Truth Brigade on AmericanFreedomRadio.com with Tobias Lars tonight. Men and women, will they ever meet? Not looking good so far, according to our first caller, Louis B. And Louis, we have a few short minutes this segment, and I'm going to allow you to continue your hate, but I do hope that you would find a way, maybe, new eyes or new ears, and open your heart so that you can hear and instead of contribute to the problem, contribute to the solution, because the blame game is lame.
Well, I mean, you try to put a vote to the chat room. 2 votes out of the other listeners you got listening that didn't say nothing means I win out of default. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Okay. All right, Louis, you're the winner.
So I don't know how much of Louis is tongue-in-cheek, what he really feels. But I feel that he's being partially, at least, very truthful about some of what he feels, And that is where a lot of our collective is at, is basically we've given up on each other and you need to do it our way. If you women, in this case from Louis' position, how much she's being absolutely truthful, I can feel Louis' heart. He's searching. He wants to know. But it is very scary to get off this old position. See, the devil at least you know what you got. But if you let go, you're like, oh, my God, I'm in the unknown. I don't know how this is going to work. Maybe I'm going to have to start wearing a skirt and doing dishes, and that will be the end of the world for the man. I'm kidding, But so we have to get off our positions and say this isn't working.
I don't mind pulling the stove out or the refrigerator out so she can get behind and clean.
Exactly. Right on. And there's nothing wrong with that. By the way, delineated roles like that, if it's working, it's working. It's all a game. If we want to play, June Cleaver, Leave It to Beaver, no jokes about that, and we want to have traditional roles of men going out working and the woman staying at home. And if that's working, that's wonderful. It's a wonderful way because it hits on a deep thing, which is the feminine receptive yin, the space. Space itself, dark space, is the feminine, the yin. And there's some theories and evidence that was before there was light, right? What's in the beginning? Even the Bible, the patriarchal system, says in the beginning there was a void. Now, I would suggest that women have more of a void matrix uterus than men do. And then God said, let there be light. The point is, it's not about who's better or bigger or stronger or who came first. That's a dead end. Doesn't matter. The boy and the girl...
women like to throw the fact, we make babies. Do you know what it's like to carry a baby? So what? A monkey could carry a baby. You're not doing nothing special. Come on. We got cats and dogs. Cats and dogs poop out like 6 at a time. you know, bravo, ladies. Yeah, you can poop out a kid, you know, but you still need a guy to do it. Ha, 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 we got the juice.
Well,
the holy sacrament of birth as described by Louis B. Very nice.
That's right.
I'm teasing you. So, we are both pieces of the source as it divides into yin and yang, yang being the male principle, sunlight, race cars, you know, it's sort of a male thing. And this is not being sexist, you know, speed. Light is the speed of light. It loves doing that. Not that many women are turned on by going 200 miles per hour. Of course, there's always exceptions, of course, you know, but so there are male and female principles. The feminine enjoys certain energies of kind of luxuriating and quiet spa energy. Men don't get off on that as much, you know? So there are feminine and male. We can't make ourselves the same. We're not the same. The feminine principle is different. Light is different than dark space. And then we try to go, well, light is better, light is faster, we bring the light. And then the dark says, yeah, well, you couldn't be here. If it wasn't for us, we had to create space for you to exist, right? And then you're back to the argument. The argument is stupid. It's silly. Both are needed for anything to be happening. To have electricity.
I agree.
Yeah, to have electricity.
But you know, we have these man-hating feminists that are out there, and they try to discount us and say fathers are not necessary in the family. And then which, hey, Tobias, can you name me where are the battered husband shelters? No, because there aren't any. We're just told to wipe the blood off and keep going. And here's another cosmic joke. You still got to pay alimony to her.
Okay, well, that's not always true either, but as many woman-hating misogynists there are out there, I mean, of course they're going to create the feminist man-hater mentality.
That's right. There's a balance. The universe does a perfect balancing act because that's just how it is. It creates perfect, if there's so much of this, if you repress this, it'll show up somewhere else. There's a perfect reflection. As you judge, so shall ye be judged. As you measure, you will be measured also. That's from the Bible. There's other teachings that show the exact same thing, you know. So you're going to have an equal amount of men who are going to say, well, the woman is stupid, emotional, and then not capable of reasoning, and basically a lesser creature. That was not too long ago, a few hundred years ago, that was accepted truth.
Okay, I'm sorry, Tobias. It's that time. Hold that right there. Thank you for sharing your opinion, Louie. Always appreciated. We are going to be right back. Stay tuned. Tobias Lars on Truth Brigade Radio. All right, welcome back. Top of the second hour here tonight with Tobias Lars on Truth Brigade Radio, talking about why men and women are having a hard time forming functioning relationships. We have another caller on the line, Tobias, but if you would, please continue.
Well, I just want to say it's a huge topic. This triggers everybody because it's so deep, you know. But basically, the male and the feminine principle are what's in this universe. I'm watching the Santa Fe Railroad here, have a train go by. Well, that's pretty male and yang, the train, the track, going across the feminine earth, right? There's the male action-oriented thing. Our electrical outlet. Everything. You take an in and an outie to create electricity. You need a receptive electric receptacle, and you need a plug, right? I mean, it's everywhere in the universe. So even if some people say, well, I'll just, you know, let's bring up the gay thing because that really sets off all kinds of judgment. So some souls are trying, well, I've had enough of that other side, and I just want to learn more about the male side or the feminine side. But the male and the female side still exist within relationships. In men, there's often a much more effeminate partner. And with women, there's often a very dykey or butchy or male partner. So trying to get away from, not always, there's always exceptions, and there's all kinds of permutations. There's the male and female energy of receptivity, the dark, the openness, the magnetic in the electromagnetic spectrum, which creates everything there is. I'll say it again. The electromagnetic spectrum creates everything there is. That's all there's going on. Electromagneticness is all that's happening in the created universe. Electricity and magnetism. Feminine magnetism, magnetic fields. Can you see magnetic fields? No. Are they real? You betcha. Try to take two big magnets and push them together if they don't want to, with the opposing poles. You cannot. They levitate trains. They levitate trains in Japan with magnets. Magnets are super strong. Is the feminine very strong? Absolutely. Is electricity very strong? Yes, it is. Go hang on those giant wires going across the countryside. That's some strong stuff. Electromagnetism, the two polarities of the male, the yang, and the female, the magnetic yin. We can't get away from it. It is part of the universe. It needs both, and we are strangely attracted to each other. You can't swear off and say, I don't want anything more to do with women. They are just nuts. I just want to hang out with guys. You're still going to attract, even if you take it to the level, I'm going to be gay. And by the way, sometimes it is a choice. Oh, my God. And others are completely born with it. It's not either or. It's both and more. Some people, I know people that have been married and said, okay, now I'm gay. Now I'm back and being straight. There's all kinds of permutations. There's not just three things. It's not straight, lesbian, gay, and straight. That's not it. There's bisexual. There's all kinds of, yes, now I am, now I'm not. Now I'm bringing up a whole other can of worms. My point here is the male and female principle exists in all those relationships. You have receptivity and you have yang maleness, electricity and magnetism for the sexual act to work. In all, whether it's 2 women, 2 men, 5 men, 10 women, 2 women, whatever the role is, that energy is floating around. We have to realize that. And as long as one of those principles tries to make the other wrong, while being forever and eternally attracted to it helplessly, I'm hopelessly attracted to you, says the electron to the center of the atom. Right? I'm hopelessly attracted to you, says the center of the atom to the electron.
I'm sorry, Tobias. Hold that right there. We'll finish this up when we return from this short break. Stay tuned, everyone. Tobias Lars on Truth Brigade Radio. Take it easy here tonight. Truth Brigade on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. If you would like to join us for the text chat tonight, that's over at truthbrigade.com. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to give us a call at 402-237-2525. That's 402-AFR-2525. Tobias Lars tonight. He is the author of Listening to the Sun and Awakening Souls, which you can find at innerbodyawakening.com. Men and women, will they ever meet? Tobias, if you could, we have another caller, but if you could please just finish up where you were going with atom and the nucleus and all that good stuff.
Yes. So basically, if you want to learn what fusion is truly like, see, surface sex is really kind of like masturbation. If you're not connecting with each other's absences, you might as well be watching, videos or magazines or fantasy, which is fine too. But real, genuine, energetic exchange, sexual fusion is very, very different than resisting the other side. In other words, resisting the male or resisting the female. I don't really want to know you, but I'm hopelessly attracted to you. I don't want to get off my position about my way is better, but I'm just sort of weirdly lose my mind once in a while and need to have sex with you. If that's the way you're doing it, you're kind of doomed to be repeating and stuck in that cycle like a stuck CD. You're just going to be stuck on it. So all of this, the first hour, is basically, it takes 2 to tango. Both sides are needed, the male and the feminine principle. If both sides decide, I'm right and you're wrong, you're going to be stuck in a stalemate forever. And you're actually going to be able to kill this planet, And so getting off that and saying, okay, we need to move to a hybrid, a merger here. We need to have a corporate merger, okay? We need to be able to let go of our particular old stuck ways, whether that be patriarchy or witchery. Both sides are not good. You know, if you're doing witch control and love potion stuff and controlling men's minds, yeah, you can do it, but you end up with idiot men that you're stuck with. There's an opposite reaction. If you mistreat women, take their power away, yeah, you can do it, but you end up with damaged women. So either way, that makes you end up with a partner. You might as well buy a plastic doll or a fake robot. You know, there's people are going to try that. But if you want real relationship, real fusion, real intercourse, look at that word, it means to course back and forth internally inside both of us, a true exchange. If you want that, you have to be willing to open to the other side, to the other principle, in love, in trust, and you can be honest about your fears. You need to be honest about it. It's not going to be easy, you know, for most of us, but that's the only place to go. When you're an alcoholic, at some point, when you're addicted to something, the only place to go is you've got to let go and try something else. Right now, we are doing stalemate, dysfunctional relationships for the majority of them in our culture, and they are at the best sort of temporary states of emergency. Most relationships, long-term ones now. See, at first we have that honeymoon period. Why? Why does it leave? Why does the thrill leave? Why does those first few months when you're first in love and the sex is unbelievable? Why does that leave? Does it have to leave? No, it doesn't. The way it doesn't, though, means you've got to keep it fresh, and that is being honest and true with the energies and how you feel about it. And it's not just the men opening up to their being willing to talk about the feelings, not at all. It's also about women getting real as well. Both sides need to get real. When you get real, stuff happens. You know, next time you're at a Thanksgiving dinner, get real for a minute, and the stuff will start to fly. Anywhere, anytime someone gets real, stuff starts to fly. Now, the trick is to do it so that you actually don't kill each other. And that's the hard part, you know. But when it gets real, it gets exciting. It's what Elizabeth Taylor said to Debbie Reynolds. Debbie Reynolds writes in her memoirs, I think, when Elizabeth Taylor was with, forget his name, one of the Hollywood executives, one of her early men, not Conrad Hilton's son, but the next guy, I think. Anyway, they were at some party, and Debbie Reynolds saw them fighting, like physically. He was slapping her hard, right? Mm-hmm. And Debbie Reynolds said, "Oh my God, that's terrible, that's horrible, that's horrible, that's so bad." And Elizabeth Taylor, because she's a real aspect of the feminine, right? Probably was Cleopatra in her own life. Looks at her and goes, "Debbie, you're such a square. You're such a square." They were just playing with the energy. It can be a lot of fun. It can be a lot of fun for the male and the female play. Watch wolves have sex. There's a lot of growling and a lot of stuff going on. Doesn't mean it's evil. It means it's just natural energy. And that's what we want. We want natural energy. We want to be men and women. You know, we don't want to hurt each other. You don't want creepiness. But nature makes it nice. Nature makes it beautiful. So when Elizabeth Taylor looks at Debbie Reynolds and says, "You're such a square," meaning, hey, we're just playing. It's just sexual energy. We're having fun with it. Don't worry, I can take care of myself. You don't need to call the cops. You know? So this is the thing. And sometimes the feminine has gotten so traumatized by true torture and all that stuff that they then swing all the way to the other side. I know this is so spiritually incorrect and will set off all kinds of women's groups, but I don't care. You know, what are we going to do? We got to shoot. You know, the whole thing is going to come apart here if we don't get this stuff out. We don't get this stuff out, the whole ring of fire, all around the Sea of Japan, all the way down Chile, all the way around the Philippines and all that. The whole thing's going to go off. If we don't get our energies out about this stuff, the whole thing's going to go off, and Japan's going to come visit here.
Yeah.
Do we like tsunamis? Do we like fucking having 10,000 people wiped out in 5 minutes? Well, how about 500 million wiped out in 5 minutes? Yeah. That's what's coming. That's what's coming unless we get our hearts on the line, unless we get our feelings up and get off our fucking old pots and start getting real with each other and saying, "God, I want some healing. Show us what to do." We're going to sit Well, you're bitching on, well, the woman doesn't understand, the woman's this and that, or the men are this and that. Well, good luck with that program, all right? Enjoy your Armageddon. I'm not going to be a part of it.
I'm sorry, that was such a good rant. I almost forgot the FCC, Tobias. I mean, you're speaking truth and triggering people, and I mean, you're so right. We have to, I mean, look, this whole divide we're playing in the blame game, it's obviously contributing to these major problems that you brought up in the earth. Mother Nature, you know, is like, come on, people, chill out.
Right, spiritual physics. We have to learn. See, the most scary thing in the world is getting real with your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, men would rather go off to war and die and have a medal and, you know, flags wrapped around their tombstone, and he was such an honorable man. And I'm not saying that that's not true. Occasionally, righteous war is needed. But when you'd rather do that than try to go to your woman and say, listen, I'm scared. Here, I'm going to say something. That most men, you know, this is so scary, they would rather drink themselves to death than say this. What if men could say this? Some men need to say this, others don't. I'm really afraid that I cannot satisfy you. I'm afraid I can't. I'm afraid, you know, I'm not enough for you. But say that sincerely, not in a blaming way. Because that's there for the male principle. For example, there's a laundry list of 1,000 other ones. And how about for the feminine, the woman saying to the man, I'm afraid I love you, and I'm afraid when love has been taken away in the past that you'll abandon me. I'm afraid you'll abandon me. You know, I'm afraid when I open my heart and my love to you that you're going to take it and leave. And this is not said to the other person that you need to do something about it. It is honesty in how you feel. This is what poor Joshua ben David tried to say when he said, confess your sins one unto the other. He said your sins means empty space. Sometimes it's overt evil. But mostly it's your fears and stuff inside you. You know, the Native American Indians, I go to Hopi land, and there are tribes that used to paint their weaknesses on their shields. Now that's counterintuitive. When they were up against someone else, you know, which we can talk about that. There was good and bad ones, Native Americans too. No one gets a free pass around here. We've all messed it up. But some of them, the wiser ones that work for the shamans, figured out that if I confess my weakness to the enemy, then it's no longer a weakness. It is no longer a weakness. These warriors would actually paint the part on their shield, show it to the enemy and say, this is where I'm weak.
Mm-hmm.
And that would actually give them strength. You understand? See? When you confess a weakness, you are strong.
So true.
You have to do it for real. You can't do it, I'm going to do this in a tricky way. No. Because the source of the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, you cannot fool God. You cannot fool Mother Earth. You even say that. You can't fool Mother Nature. You can't fool the divine source. Your only choice is to get real. This is one of the old religions used to be called repent. It's such an old word, it triggers everybody. But it's really about confessing, saying, this is what I feel, this is where I'm at, becoming vulnerable in front of God, in front of yourself, in front of others. That's super strength. St. Francis could do miracles in the end of his life. And by the way, this is not just in Christianity, of course. I mean, Yogananda, Babaji, you know, Lahari Mahashaya, all kinds of saints from all kinds of religions. But I'm saying this tonight, people. If you don't learn how to get real with your feelings, say hello to a whole bunch of more earthquakes. That's
Absolutely.
it.
It's gonna manifest somehow, so we might as well start dealing with our issues.
It's spiritual physics. You got to understand, you can't keep dumping your stuff. See, it's energy. We know emotions are energy, right? If you're in an airplane and there's a crying baby who's stealing stuff, can you sleep? No.
Yeah.
If there's a crying baby, Bill Cosby does a whole routine about Jeffrey on the airplane and how he kept everybody awake, right? Because how about a cat in heat? If you hear a cat in heat moaning outside your door, can you sleep? No. Why? Because it's real emotion. That's instinctual instinct in the cat and in the human baby as well. And when you hear that, it gets you on a deep level. It's real energy. It's affecting you. Now, spiritual physics, if millions of us are suppressing our emotion, energy in motion. See that part right there? It says motion. Get it moving. Get it moving. If you don't move your energy, you end up with what's happening to people. An obese nation, a stuffed nation, a drugged-out nation. We are drugged beyond help almost. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't, and this is all to avoid our emotions, because this divided and conquer state has convinced it that being emotional is weak. Really? Emotional is being weak? I'd say Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, Little Richard, on and on and on. When they move real emotions, Willie Nelson doesn't know how to sing. That guy can't sing a note. But why do people like him? Because he has some energy of feeling.
Yeah.
So that's what, and by the way, you want women, you want to get laid, you learn to have some feeling. Women will go, oh, I like that. Something's happening, right? And I'm going to get more real here tonight, too. Women will say, oh, no, I will never cheat on you. Really? Okay, bring Steve Tyler of Aerosmith to town about 20 years ago. Women will go, I don't care what my vows were. Take me to bed. That's the truth of it. That's the truth of it. And women need to get real about that. Which isn't wrong, but it's the hypocrisy of saying one thing and being susceptible to another. Right? We have to get real about that. We love energy. We love love. We love sex. We love feeling. Right?
Yeah.
So we have to learn to do that. The earth, it's spiritual physics. If you get millions, you get several billion people stuffing their feelings, where do all those feelings go? Every one of those feelings is like a crying, screaming baby. Where do those feelings go? They go into the earth.
That's true.
She can't hold it anymore. She can't hold it together anymore. Mm-hmm. So, if you want to do your part to heal the earth, heal yourself. Mm-hmm. Heal yourself. Get real. I hated my mom. I hated my dad. I felt hurt. I know this is scary. I know I'm yelling about it tonight, and I know it's very, very scary. When I was 29, this cracked open in my life. People thought I was suicidal, and people are already going to think I'm nuts the way I'm coming off tonight. But, you know, I understand that. I understand it's going to be rejected. You know, Mr. Scientist. You know, Edgar Casey was made fun of. You know, the stupid scientism and the intellectuals, they're so scared. They're so scared of their feelings. They're desperately trying to find a mathematical formula that's the universal universe theory, so I don't ever have to feel any other feeling in my life, and it can all be technical. Dead end, dead end, dead end, dead end. It turns into those little gray guys, those little horrible gray aliens that don't have sex and don't have any feelings. And the reason they're back now abducting their own selves, they're abducting themselves. From a billion years in the future, they're coming back here with secret agreements with our government, is because they've lost their emotional body. And that's why if you go through all those things with Bud Hopkins and all their abduction scenarios, they all look at you when you're screaming on the table as they're probing you and taking tissue samples and your sperm, etc. They're looking at you and going, why are you screaming? We don't understand because we don't have any feelings. Right? That's what the part of the human race turns into, those guys. Do you want to be one of them? Then keep stuffing your feelings. You'll be there.
Absolutely. You're talking truth.
and if you want to learn again to feel a beautiful green field, you want to be able to sit by a river, Mother Nature's Son, you know, the song by Paul McCartney. If you want to be able to feel again the wind, you know, through trees, the beach, the ocean, Tahiti, Hawaii, being able to live absolutely in beautiful, balmy weather, have as much sex as you want in all kinds of permutations, no sin, walk naked on the earth again with no mortgages, no bills, nothing to do, all provided for you. If you want to do that, you can. It's coming. There's an alternate reality coming where some of us are going back to that.
Absolutely, Tobias. Let's talk about that when we come back after this short break. Stay tuned. Truth Brigade Radio. All right, welcome back. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight. Truth Brigade on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. And we're trying to find some peace of mind here, talking about a big subject. And, Tobias, there's some questions or statements in the chat. A gentleman, and, we've talked about this before, and you wrote about it in your book, what religionism does. So what would you recommend, or how can we heal beliefs that sex is sin? We have a gentleman in the chat, without giving too much information, but I guess that's kind of what he's going through with his beautiful wife. So how can we heal that?
Right. I'm going to address that in just a sec. I want to say, we're having some R&R. It's a different kind of R&R. It's ranty and raving, but I'm having a good time.
All right.
I'm wondering here at the rest stop if some of these other people, how they're enjoying my ranty and raving.
You're in a rest area? Oh, no.
I'm in a rest area in the middle of nowhere here. I can see literally like 70 miles south into the Barry Goldwater bombing range south of Highway 8 here between Yuma and Gila Bend. It's really quite beautiful in a sense. It's just wide open desert. But I was just feeling how other people would feel. They're watching me. They all moved away, so that's good. I created some space for myself.
They locked their cars.
Yes, exactly. As long as the police don't come and ask me what I'm doing. Sex can be sin. See? Sex originally wasn't meant to be sin. It's a natural, of course, the most natural thing possible. It's the source force. It's the source force. You think the force is strong in Star Wars? Sex is much stronger even than that. The sexual force is obviously the natural, connective, regenerative way that we reproduce. We make more of ourselves. It's beautiful. Now, it can be infected, just like you can pollute water. You can pollute water, put some heavy metals or whatever in it. You can pollute it, and it can't be good to drink. If you have certain thought forms mixed with our sexual energy and certain types of spirits, there are spirits that have been made by us and some that just exist from creations that you could term evil, succubi, old terms for it. But spirits that suck energy, they drain energy, vampirist spirits. These are real, and they can occupy humans. They can entangle, intertwine themselves. Look up H.R. Geiger, on Google Images, and look at that one woman who's got two of these beings, sucking, intertwining on her spine. This is very real, So if you are possessed in a sense, or you've opened through trauma or through torture or through fear or consciously sort of said, I'm willing to do anything as long as you give me this much money or power over others, you can open yourself to these jinn, these demons, these spirits. They are real. And if you want to have sex in that state, you're going to give them a chance to reproduce. And a lot of it has been misused. A lot of the patriarchal religion has been by spirits like that, dominator spirits, that have said, well, God says you as the woman should lay down and spread your legs and you should give me babies. And they have been fruitful and multiplied a lot of these type of spirits on the earth. Here's the basic litmus test. If it doesn't feel right in your heart, if you don't feel right, if it feels icky, if your body, if your heart, you have to have your heart in there, fun, play. If it is not responding appropriately, see, love making is good. Denial or evil making is not good, right? Yeah. You can reproduce evil. Evil has sex too. So it's a separation of the good from the bad, of the healthy energies from the unhealthy energies. We all know that when some kind of priest is molesting a 9-year-old boy, that's pretty nasty, succubi, clammy, white, pasty, horrible energy, right? We would agree that child molestation is, you know, that's nasty energy. Some adults feeding on the innocence of kids. But when it comes to adults, it's harder to discern. A lot of marriages are doing this. Anytime you women have sex and you don't really want to, you're contributing to this denial energy on the planet. Anytime you're doing guilt sex, I should do it for my husband. Anytime you're doing that, the way you sow the seed is what you get more of. The kind of soil you plant in is what you get. So anytime you women give access to these kind of guilt or kind of creepy energies to your womb, you're contributing to giving birth to those energies on Earth. Harsh to say, but that's my truth. Anytime you men push women into doing sex when they really don't want to, you're contributing to those creepy energies on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
For example,
I agree.
So it can be used by a husband to say, well, see, sex is all beautiful. It's meant by God to be fun. But really what he's doing, he's got some creepy energies in him, and he really doesn't want her to have her. He wants to use guilt to get her to have sex with him. It can all be misused. And the woman can do the same thing. There's women that do it too, you know. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you know, there's women out there who are possessed by things, and they are possessed by a hatred for source, for God, and they're using sex as a hatred. An obvious one is a young girl who hates her daddy and is totally rebelling against her daddy and becomes a hooker. Mm-hmm. Often that is psychological hatred that is at the source of it. You know, it's basically an FU to the father, in this case also the Father God. The feminine has done that as well. That's not healthy, you know. So this is a tangled web to untangle. But the rule of thumb is it kind of playful? Does it feel good when you're done? Here's one. After you've had orgasms, do you still feel good? Does it feel warm, enjoyable? Or is there a creepy emptiness? If there's a creepy emptiness after the orgasm, you were just playing with creepy emptiness energy. If it actually fills you up, 1 + 1 is 3, then you're playing with love energy, with God's source energy. And that can look really raucous, full-on lustful sex. You know, it's not how it looks. It's the energy behind it that really counts. So, yes, sex was made originally by God, by source, by the creative force of the universe. Of course, it's meant to be the most pleasurable it is, most enjoyable thing that's going. But you have to watch out for guilt and shoulds around it, you know. No one should do it if they don't want. Overriding someone's will in any way, whether it's fancy little talk and guilt or whatever it is inappropriate.
Mm-hmm. And maybe if there's somebody in a committed relationship and, you know, I mean, I guess they're describing here on the chat where the female just isn't really that big on sex at all. So, I mean, what do you do in situations like that? I mean, do you think the female might have some issues that she needs to work on? Is it just not a mutually compatible relationship? I mean, how would you deal with something like that?
It totally depends on the situation. That female here, see, I'm not giving any nice pat answers here today. That woman might be very turned on with someone else.
Ouch.
Yeah, ouch. That's the reality of it. That woman might be really turned on with someone else. And that man might be really turned on with someone else. So it's not that there's not a sex drive there. There's unspoken resentments, for example. There's uncleared energies, emotional buildup. The relationship tartar buildup. We spend more time and money getting rid of the tartar on our teeth than we do on our relationships and our soul.
Okay. I just want to say, though, maybe, I mean, and coming from a woman who's expressed those types of feelings in the past, maybe she has her own anger or resentment issues, unresolved issues around sex, perhaps a traumatic childhood, rape, abandonment, etc.
Right. So let me take another scenario. See, it depends on each situation. We're not cookie-cutter souls. It's not cookie-cutter situation. Another example might be the man is very loving. and she's not that interested in sex because there's some abuse issues. When she was 12, 11, 3, something happened, or other lifetimes, other places where she just sort of shut off sex, where someone convinced her that God doesn't like that. You can't, God doesn't like women who have really big orgasms or are very lustful. Because there's a big belief out there that somehow sex is not appropriate in God's eyes. So a woman might have that, and she might have a very loving man who's just totally there for her, but she can't see. Her wiring is that the bad man turns me on, but the good man doesn't turn me on. Right? See, women have that too. Women have that bad boy thing, right? That's wired into them. It's the same way men have it. They have, that's my wife, the Madonna, the mother. Once the wife has a baby, they can't be as sexually attracted to the wife.
I can't do that with her. She's a mother.
Right, exactly. So we both have it. So it depends on the situation. It could be that there's relationship tartar buildup. There's stuff I can't view him sexually anymore. Or it can be other issues from the past. In general, if the woman has never enjoyed sex, if she's always had a hard time with it, that's one situation. If it is, yes, I love sex. I really, really love it, but it's not working with my partner right now. Then it's probably relationship tartar buildup. You need to get at some truth about it. Or there's some annoyance, irritation, stuff that you've submerged or hidden and repressed. Then other times it can be a multitude of things, but each situation is unique. The bottom line is, yes, God's source made love, sex to be enjoyed, not just for making kids, but also for making energy. It makes energy. Energy is very beautiful. Energy sustains us. Energy warms you on a cold night. It's not just for making children. It's for making love. It's for literally creating an effervescing energy of love coming off our souls that literally feeds the plants around us. The Beltane fires, the rites, I think it was Beltane, but, not Beltane. The rites of spring. The rites of spring was all the people, the Celtic, the Druids, lots of other societies, they would go out in the fields and make love in the fields. Why? Because it helped the crops grow. Literally, helps the crops grow. Wow. When mommy and daddy are happy, that electromagnetic energy runs throughout the whole family, right? When mom and dad are getting along, aren't the kids happier? Yeah. Well, when the kids are getting along, mom and dad are happier too, right? So when the humans go out and make love in the field, not from a love place, it feeds the crops. The trees grow better. The animals feel better. We are meant to be that lightning rod of energy, like acupuncture needles for the earth. We humans are. So in answer to that question, it would depend on the situation. And sometimes you need to have a skilled shaman, a skilled person who knows energy. Not just a licensed therapist. Just because you have degrees doesn't mean you know energy. What that means is you learn some methods that some psychologists taught you. That's not intuitive always. To deal with this stuff, you need someone that learns to work with energy. And I'm going to toot my own horn here for a second. That's what I do. When I work with people from all walks of life, and that's been my training for multiple lifetimes, whether you're a yogi or a Christian, I can talk to you and help unravel that stuff. Because that's my job. That's what I came to do, So, but there's lots of us on the planet that help with this thing. And, of course, God is the ultimate helper. You've got a direct pipeline to God's source and your angels, and they tell you to go have someone help you. Do it. And if you can work it out on your own, awesome. So it depends. I'm giving you a couple of scenarios.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a few more questions on the chat, and since you're real and raw tonight, I guess these are pretty appropriate. One of them is prostitution ever good? And the other ones were in regards to anal sex, or what people refer to as kinky. Is it ever okay? And I know we're coming up on a break, so we'll probably have to continue this, but how would you answer those questions, Tobias? I knew it was coming. I hear the music. Okay, I'm sorry, Tobias. Okay. It's that time. So, we'll pick this up when we return. Last segment coming up, so stay tuned, everyone. Tobias Lars on Truth Brigade Radio. Here tonight, Truth Brigade on AmericanFreedomRadio.com, and Hot Topic with Tobias Lars tonight. Perhaps continuing the discussion next week might be appropriate. Lots of questions still. But Tobias, I just want to give out the website again before we run out of time here. InnerBodyAwakening.com or AlchemyProcess.com. But yeah, a few short minutes left. What do you think about that, Tobias?
Again, I think the Creator, we are learning to discern energies. And to do that, there's times when everything is okay and everything can be wrong. Prostitution, there used to be sacred temples before the patriarchy took over. There were sacred goddess temples. Every woman, as part of the civilization, or most of them, would serve time as being a sacred temple prostitute. It was part of her learning, where there was sex involved. And it was holy sex, transpersonal sex, beyond ego. You don't own me, I don't own you. This is what went on with the rites of spring as well. This is true beyond your personality. You're inhabited by the collective. One way to say that is the God is doing it through you, the God and Goddess. These are terms. So prostitution sometimes can approximate that and can be sacred sex. And other times it's just horrible. Horrible denial energy, creating dark energy on planet Earth if it's done with shame, guilt, rebelliousness, hatred. So you can't say blanket statement, prostitution is all bad or prostitution is good. No, as usual, you have to feel and separate the energy. And that's what the source, us God humans, we are. Pear seeds grow into pear trees. God seeds grow into gods. We are God seeds as humans. And part of us learning to become these gods, you are gods, Joshua Ben David said, is learning to discern energy. Anal sex. Anal sex, same thing. This is the most tentative place because this is the root chakra. This is where you can send energies up the spinal column, right? Women can protect themselves. We're being very, very blunt here tonight. When you have vaginal sex, the woman can shut off her spinal column. She doesn't have the sex force of the male then coming in, or her own as well, mixing with it, going up her spine. Vaginal sex, she can keep it sort of in the, where she wants. She can control it more. When it's anal sex with men or women, you are opening yourself, your spinal energies. This is your chakra energies. This is the Holy Ghost energy. So it can be completely misused to traumatize people. If you traumatize people with anal rape sex, you can mind control, fracture them into multiple personalities. Okay? Mm-hmm. And when it's done in holy love, I know that's hard to imagine, right? Anal sex done in holy love. It can also heal those things. Someone that has experienced horrible traumatization that way, so often the medicine is often the very thing that hurt us, right? That's why we have, let's not bring up vaccines, because we know those are all bad. But that's what the Taoist priests, the Taoist monks would often do alchemy with poison. So again, it depends on how it's done and the energy doing it. Imagine it this way. If the devil who wants to soul control you is doing it to you, probably not good for you. If God, who loves you, wants to heal you of the stuff the devil did to you, it will help you. That's the way it is. It's never all bad or all good. It can be misused. And specifically anal sex, because it is the most sort of opening into the internal energies of the body, the chakra system, the spinal cord, if you will, the energies of source. That's why we protect ourselves there so much. Freudian, the whole toilet training, all that stuff. There's so much clenching, literally, sphincter clenching, holding out the earth, but it's also where we're supposed to receive the nourishment, the nurturing, the security of life, the red energy, our root chakra, that feeds us physical energy. So it can be terribly misused, and it can also be very healing.
Okay, yeah. So it's your famous line, it's never either or, it's always both and more. And I guess it depends on the situation. Yeah, if you're misusing it's not good. If you don't feel good about it, you might want to stay away. But if it's something that fills your spirit and feeds your heart and, in a loving, consenting or whatever relationship that works for you, then it's all good.
It is. It can be. And I'm going to break another taboo here. There were ancient practices in all shamanic traditions, in all Native American Indians, Vedic yogic traditions, the ninjas, the true samurai. Again, I said Native American tradition, and obviously in the Greek tradition, where there was sex between men and younger men. Okay. In a passing on knowledge way. And I know that's going to shock people. And it can be totally misused by destroying young men. But it can also be an amazing way that a master passes on pure energy. And I know that is a total taboo, but I don't care anymore. We need to say all this stuff. So it depends on how it's done. Jesus tried to share this with us by saying, by their fruits you shall know them. In other words, if the end result of it is a fractured human that's schizoid and mentally got problems and can't remember parts of their life, obviously it wasn't healthy. If it awoke a healthy spiritual energy that helped that person be more independent, more strong, more closer to God, then the fruit was good. There have been times in some secret teachings where sex between masters and disciples, and I'm not talking kids now, has been used. But again, it's all with the intention. The scalpel can be used to kill, or it can be used to help. Today, I had a very skillful dental surgeon cut out a very strange wisdom tooth that I had sort of...
I'm so sorry, Tobias. It is that time. I want to thank you so much for your pure and rare, raw honesty tackling these difficult subjects tonight. We will do part 2 next Thursday. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Freeman Radio coming up next. Abundant blessings and love to all. We will see you tomorrow night. Truth Brigade Radio.
A very wealthy U.S.